like a tier 0 or something because it's not banned in the 4-5 scenario. But
Yep.
if they do decide to ban Yone, I also think it's not a bad option because what they played in game 1 wasn't really a good answer to how well he performed on that champ.
Yeah, no, I mean, ultimately it was looking to try and wrestle with it and sort of hold it down for as long as possible, but he had that cheeky kill. As soon as he hit level 6, right, he's just diving towers, not a care in the world. A nice rotate from Hexflash. I think, quietly, my MVP at the moment for that matchup. Obviously, Nebula gets all the credit because his KDA is fantastic, but I think Hexflash certainly had that sort of, that weird timing to rotate through, so maybe it's a little bit harder than just saying remove one champion and hey, presto, we are cooking with fire. They've gone for the Lucian ban, so it won't be 4 out of 4 here for Nebula. They'll have to show us something a little bit different. As for Ion, they feel like an Ivan ban is super necessary in this first rotation.
I do remember with my own personal experience, like I've played with Lisa in the past, like he is a very proficient Ivan. Like when you think of Ivan, you think, alright, it's carbon time, but like I do remember Lisa's Ivan being like something that he was very, very good at.
Yeah, it rings bells to a very, very long time ago when Ivan was in the front of things. But it's been a hot minute since. The Orianna's going to come out as well, so still I'm going to stick to some conventional mages that need to be removed off. But to put it that high up is a bit surprising. Same with the Gragas as well. So the Rumble, LeBlanc, they've all been let through. That means easily as that, they're going to first pick it.
So they've taken away the LeBlanc, which is also a denial pick, because I would say LeBlanc is Emphasis' best champion. It's very curious to see whether Zerby will go the AD or the AP LeBlanc, because I think that AD LeBlanc is still viable after the nerfs, it's just not as strong.
Not as strong, and look, if players aren't willing to go for it, then you wouldn't bet against them, because Direwolves have answered back with a pretty strong 2-punch themselves. They've got the Varus, arguably the best AD carry on the patch. They're going to pair it alongside Syndra, which is an old classic of Emphis. Which, if memory serves quite well, it did a lot of work in terms of setting up plays from afar.
Yeah, like I'm really happy to see like when you match champs in draft. I think this is how like you should play red sides. Like you see champ, you match champ, and you just continually get like those counters as the draft ticks down through the positions. We are seeing the Aphelios and Emilio combo, which is like a very stable lane that scales extremely well. We'll see if like Direwolves want to take away like a Nautilus and like try to punish as much as possible, or also just match with the range support and scale.
Yeah, let's see what they do decide to go for, because right now Aphelios' win rate is looking pretty abysmal, actually the worst of all AD carries we have at only 40%, despite being locked in second most of the time. So these are matchups they're choosing to go for, but they're just unable to try and get out on top with it. What will Direwolves decide to try and take into this one to say, well, if you're going to opt for that, we're just going to out-harass you. We've seen this time and time again. A Varus Karma lane, I mean, it is just so oppressive.
Yeah, so far I'm seeing like a lot of strong early game lane priority from Direwolves. Like I feel like they're gonna pick like a strong jungler as well on 4 and just have this ability to invade Foreigner and deny him the ability to gank, because I think he's been very successful in how he's been moving around the map in these past 2 weeks. And I think this is a very good game plan coming out of Direwolves.
It's a very nice game plan. Look at all these reactive bans, however, from Direwolves' side, right? They get a ban away the Maokai as well, which you saw Foreigner have a pretty standout performance on at the same set of events. So what are they thinking now? What is Ion working their way towards? They've got themselves some nice burst. They've got themselves some scaling damage. But they're clearly concerned about the amount of early pressure that Direwolves have. How would they want to try and round this out? They deny away the set first of all. 2 jungle bans from Direwolves, taking away the Jarvan 2. Game on to see where Ion continue with.
Well, knowing Ion, I would have said like he's looking towards Jarvan right now. Like it's a bit Thanos into those 3 champs, but Direwolves have banded away. We're probably going to see like a Vi taken as either priority for Direwolves or Ion. I think like the champ is really strong right now. Direwolves are looking to deny the Xante, which they probably consider like the strongest champion left up right now.
So it seems to be the way, and if River can continue the performance he had in game number 1, a few more solo kills to be found, and the team there to back him up with the early game pressure could perhaps be the difference that actually ties up the series and gives us that 1-war scoreline that, I mean, me personally, I'm hoping for, but I suppose yourself and some of the other viewers are thinking that Ion is definitely in with a shot of taking it all. Where do they go then? They've denied away the Zen. They can see that there's a clear initiation factor, and they might just say, well, you've left all these other OPs up because you've gone for reactionary bans. LB and Rumble would be exciting. It's locked in, it's confirmed, but they need a tank of some sort.
Seeing this Rumble locked in, I think that like this is most likely an AD LeBlanc, because it's very unlikely that we have AP, like double AP and Rumble and LeBlanc. Both these champs want to be solo AP. They don't. LeBlanc doesn't really have access to that consistent magic damage. So like when people build their Mara against you, it's really really sad. So more than likely we'll see an AD LeBlanc here. And yeah, I think Vi is the last jungler that's left up that is the best into what Dials have shown. I think it's a really good lock-in.
There it is. Come on, Lisa. It's your time to shine. And finally, the Lee Sin comes back into effect as most played champion. The one I've been really keen to see back on the main stage. And a chance them to say, we've got aggression in lanes. We've now got an early jungler that's keen to fight and do the exact same thing too. Do you think this is enough to try and change things around here, Tally? Or have they invested too much into early game skirmishing?
I think that like these champs from that Dials have shown still scale extremely well, like especially with like the way lethality works now. Varus can even choose to go on hit, which is like another just hyper carry in itself. I like that they are showing so much early game strength. Like Syndra Lee Sin is like a classic mid jungle combo that's just like hit CC, one shot someone. I like that they have lane priority. I like that they have Cassandre who just does absolutely everything in top lane. We'll have to see how they go this game.
We'll have to see if they can then find the victory they're really craving as a result. You mentioned before that you're sort of expecting AD LeBlanc to come out now. Obviously, we've been talking at great lengths, given this is the hotfix patch. Without really pressuring you on the spot and saying, do you know all the numbers? Would you say quite comfortably how much worse it off is now? Like, would you still favor AP majorly, or is AD LeBlanc still very much playable?
I think it's still playable for sure. It's just like you lost a bit of, I think it's like you lost a bit of like AD scaling and attack speed, but like I don't think that's what made AD LeBlanc strong. It's just the fact that she can just poke you and never be in danger is like what makes her like so oppressive to play against. Like she's still gonna like run the side lane if he does choose to go AD. I think that like it's completely fine. Which
is my logic as well, I suppose. I was sort of looking at it and going, well, they've done a few stat changes. They've tried to make AP seem a little bit more attractive, but ultimately it wasn't that, right? It was still the itemization that you could pick up to mirror match at evolution. That was the real issue, which is still going to be there for the taking. So let's see then. Going into another going into a game 2 of this second series, let's see if it's enough for Direwolves to try and even things out, or if I've just been given far too many strong champions. You've denied away pocket picks, and instead then got Flavor of the Month meta picks. I guess that is the age-old question then. What becomes more strong? It's one of those questions, I guess, that you can't really answer because it depends what the pocket pick could be. But Rumble and Lucian, Rumble and LeBlanc, there's a reason why they're so good. These champions can literally 2v5 Baron steals.
Yeah, I haven't really touched on much about Ion's draft, but I think that their comp is also really good. You have like 3 immobile champs in Syndra, Varus, and Karma, and like when you layer the Vi plus Rumble damage on top of them, you can just drop a backline out of the fight immediately, and like you get so much space for your like LeBlanc and affiliates to just do damage. It's pretty much like a solo frontline coming out of Direwolves. Like Lee Sin isn't really going to be that tanky when we get to like those mid-late game team fights, so we'll have to see like how they want to play these fights going forward.
It's time to see how the fights can play out. It's time to figure out, will one of these teams be getting hashtag ionized, or will we get a bit of a woo coming out from the side of Direwolves? Will the Wolfpack wake on up and show us how to bring this to an even scoreline? Will both teams be walking away with a point? Or will it be 3 points for Ion to live and laugh with? River there with a little bit of a cheeky dance and flex into Jovi, but nothing seems to be happening for any kind of level 1 play.
I always like to see like what people's emotes are. Like I feel like the emote game is a very underrated skill in League. Like how hard you can tilt your lane opponent is just like it's honestly something that's really important as a pro.
Surely gets to the point though as a player where you're actually just disabling and like you're muting the emotes. You don't even see them because otherwise you know subconsciously like how dare this person keeps spamming Silas down farm.
Yeah, no, you definitely like I know cases in the past of just like players you had to mute when you got into the game because they just I think Why Not is one of them. You just mute Why Not when you verse him because he is just in all chat. He is spamming emotes. He gets in your head.
Well, it's really interesting when we sort of see that because I remember a very, very long time ago, I think it was Get Back, was just subconsciously spamming like the angry B emote in lane. And we asked him about it. He says, oh, I don't even know I'm pressing it. That's when, you know, you've really hit the sort of the true ascendance of emote game power is we're bearing witness to just why Varus and Karma are so highly prized as a bot lane pairing. One single cycle of cooldowns enables us down to 50%.
Yeah, Karma's just a really oppressive champion paired with like Halo Blades Varus. Like you're just gonna see pretty much perma priority coming out of this bot lane. It's just how well Ion can scale, navigate, make sure that, like they're not down too much farm and like enter this mid game happy.
I think the main thing that I'm looking at is you sort of kind of expect this shove and crash to happen in bot lane, but in mid in particular, Would you say that Lisa should be focusing attention to try and make it a very strong 2v2 there, or would you say that he should look towards bot lane to make sure that you know, the Varus can get unlocked and push other lanes instead?
I think personally, mid and bot should win in isolation for Direwolves, and like Lisa's job should be to make sure that Foreigner is unable to impact these matchups. Just like play the counter gank, play to make sure your lanes are like not in positions where they're susceptible to dying. It's honestly like a much happier scenario for Lisa in the early game than Foreigner.
So let's see then, game on then Foreigner as to what he can get accomplished and what Lisa can try and deny as the first turret plate falls on down. Only 3 minutes into this one, that is going to be the story of this matchup to be expected. How big of a lead can they actually accrue as a result of this one, as Doraemon's going to look to try and do much the same into River. Not going to be able to match that pushing power, especially when the Flame Spitter can be used off CD. And then meanwhile, we look at Jovi, who's going to go for the harass to try and even out some of the trading potential, and he's really making a strong argument to try and get himself MVP of this entire series.
I guess we can touch on it now. So Jovi has chosen to go AP LeBlanc, and I think this puts River in a position where like he's extremely happy, because like as you play a tank, especially Cassante, into double AP solo lane, it's like you can itemize very easily. I think it's going to pick up like the K-Nick Rooker, as we're seeing an all-in bot lane.
Yeah, we certainly are. Look at Chen Xuan falling on down. He's barely hung on for dear life there as the Summoner Hill comes out from his AD carry, but the sniper, it's there! He goes back in with the shield on himself, and the first blood going against him is being picked up by Nebula completely against the flow of play. And despite them having all that shove, it's them falling down first.
It honestly looked like Chen Xuan was confused if he wanted to run away or not. But he does go down in the end there, and as I was touching on my point, yeah, I think that River can really itemize like a heavy amount of ML in this game and just have total control on side lanes.
Not what we expected. That certainly wasn't written in the script for this one, but they'll take it, that is for sure. Nebula bailed out of a very rough laning affair to really bridge that gap and, yeah, I suppose deny more than anything any kind of potential to try and run away with this laning phase. As for Lisa, unable to try and impact things too much, they're rocking up a little bit too late as the fight had already broken up really against them.
Yeah, and this was pretty much done completely 2v2, so it's really good to see that like the weak point in the early game has just pretty much been navigated, because they were able to find that 2v2 kill so easily.
So back to your point, I suppose, we saw River go for that, you know, Rookenan before in the last game. Obviously we were saying, you know, it's not the best given it's only a solo AP. This time, as you were barely mentioning before we got into that fight, with 2 AP champions being built, you'd suppose, given the runes and the items already chosen here by Jovi on your screen, surely Cassante even tankier than he was last game. And it took him like 10 seconds even late game to fall down to 5 members.
Yeah, I would say already wins the side lane against both those champions like pretty easily, and the fact that like he can probably just go double MR items is gonna make like his life so much easier. I think that like he's gonna be able to find so much priority on the side lane, like, and see if he's able to use these like TPs for flanks or like any solo kills even. I feel like it's just like a nice little window for them to open up to.
So are you saying if there was a game for Void Staff to actually maybe get a little bit competitive and closer to Crypt Bloom, perhaps this could be the one if it were to go that way?
Yeah, this is definitely like one of those games.
Let's see then if that is taken into consideration, or if one team finds himself at such an advantage that itemization isn't really the biggest talking point. You can see once again, Katsuri and Chen Xuan just going to push that lane in, rotate elsewhere, see what they can find as a result. Meanwhile, Foreigner going to take his chances and say, well, let's just pick up some of these Void Grubs, get those down pat as quickly as we can, get that on respawn, and look to force the pressure elsewhere, because the equalizers come out, and River very easily has sidestepped that one, despite not having ultimate as himself.
Ooh, and he drops the emote. Ooh.
Nice try, buddy.
Nah, I think it's always good to see stuff like that. Like, I think like dropping emotes and getting in people's heads, especially like when you win trades and stuff, is like, it's very funny to see.
Can they get into the heads in the bot lane? Lisa is only just crest over to level 5, so no chance of any big pick in sec anytime soon. But I think the bot lane of Iron here smell that something's awry. Instant flash, make it 2, dashing away. 2 men scared of the weak, but they're out of vision. And so far back that, yeah, the bot lane can't really assist them, but they'll be quite happy to say, we'll deny XP, we'll deny you gold, and we'll claim even more of your turret plates.
Yeah, this is also happening in mid lane though, so it's not really like they're getting a advantage in the map. It's more like bot lane is getting ahead for mid lane falling behind, which is like probably not ideal based on the mid lane matchup. This is really susceptible to like snowballing one way really hard when one of them gets ahead. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. First real opportunity for that mid-jungle pairing, as strong as they are, to link up to try and find something. Really, what they were able to get was 2 summoners, and 2 crucial ones of that, with the flashes being burnt. Will that make life that much easier then for the bot lane to try and stabilize? Having lost that first blood, can they then translate that into getting a bigger CS lead, perhaps even the first turret before all those plates fall on down? Up by 20 at the moment to try and equalize out that one, and very much game on to see really where things land as we wait for that very first dragon to come into life.
Yeah, as you can see, River's staying on the map with extreme low amount of health, and we're seeing everyone from Dials just converge on top lane. Because they probably feel like a gank or a dive is coming right now, or if they can try kill Doraemon if he overextends. We'll have to see, because I feel like Foreigner is going to face check, and Lisa is level 6 here, so let's see what they can do.
Does it feel too obvious though, is my only concern. Does it feel almost too premeditated? The equalizer goes out, River's standing on it, he's burning for the moment, but there's only one item. It's only a Doran's ring, it's not going to do much. He flashes, dodges out Fisher, but Doraemon's taking him out! It doesn't matter. He also kills Lisa from full HP. Genchuan flashing away, and he realizes, oh no guys, we've absolutely bricked this lane. Foreigner's got ahead. The Rumble is winning. How's it all gone so wrong?
Ooh, yeah, that really hurts. Like, Doraemon plays out really well. Like, he drops all his damage and flashes away so no one can follow up on the damage. Lee Sin is not going to solo kill Rumble at that point in the lane. I think Foreigner dinged level 6 walking into lane. And he was 5, I'm pretty sure. We'll have to see if the replay comes up, as you can see an all-in bot lane.
Yeah, Moonlight Vigil going across. Katsuri going to respond back with damage of his own. And with all those Truckums available, can't do much more than that. So they just have a chance to showcase just how strong they are. 9 minutes into this one. But let's run it back with this replay, because it's River baiting first of all, but Foreigner gets in here just in time.
Oh, so Foreigner did get 6 off the camp, so he was 6 coming to clean this up. It's pretty much textbook. Like, when you bait out so many resources, like, you drop all your damage, like, they got nothing left. River was way too low health. It's just an easy cleanup for them.
The perfect fight then for the side of Ion. They'll be feeling really good about their chances now, knowing that, well, you've sacrificed all this. You've not really been able to accomplish too much in your early game. Your real saving grace has been the fact that your bot lane is ahead by a massive amount of CS, but it's not enough to really turn any tables just yet. 10 minutes in, it is Ion actually with the gold leads. And they'll know that they've denied this Lee Sin. They've got their Rumble strong, and this LeBlanc is farming up an absolute treat.
Yeah, Ion is probably not too worried about what's happening bot lane, because like you can say like their champs are extremely good into Varus. It's very easy to just like blow this guy up regardless of how fed he gets, because he is immobile and they have a Vi Rumble. So they're probably very happy that like their top side is strong and their bot side is like being sacrificed for that. And also like Zerbi's like navigating this lane really well. Like he's chunking him, he's finding plates. Like, another like really good performance from him.
I'm noticing also being quite clever with his timing of the distort back, never actually getting caught by the predicted scatter of the week that's coming from Memphis afterwards, right? So the trades aren't actually becoming just that. It's just a straight bit of aggression, which goes unchecked. Rivening going to choose a chance to get a little bit of aggressive in this one. Say, I took you down in the 1v1 as a Gragas. Can I take you down as a Rumble? The answer, no. As, well, the equalizer just a little bit stronger than yours.
He's just cooking. He's just Rumble is just way too strong at this point. Like it's pretty much like you could say like this is Rumble's full build. Like he's got his boots, he's got his haunting guys, he's happy to go. Yeah,
I mean he's got all that early game magic pen, and soon to get all the burn from that completed Leandries, which can't be too far away now. He's absolutely farming up a storm with 2 stacks of the Darksteel. He's vibing, feeling himself. That is for certain. And the question becomes, who can shut him down? Because you mentioned very early on to this one, if it is going to be a double AP setup, you would need all this magic resist as Cassante, but he's got some already, and it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah, a bit of a saving grace though. Like Rumble's E does shred an insane amount of magic pen, so like I have seen scenarios of like a 6-item tank is getting one shot by Rumble. So like I guess that like they're not too worried as well. Like since Rumble's ahead, they will be able to deal with the side lane pretty easily.
Try as they might, it is going to be a bit of an uphill battle. A few more of those Void grubs picked up right now. I believe that's actually all of them in favor of Ion. We'll have to wait and see if those Void might spawn on towards the turret. Pressure is on, as it has been, as our work is cut out for the observers figuring out, do we look at bots, we look at mid. Top is the play instead, as River is just getting hit by harpoons. The magic resist is just getting shredded. And, I mean, who let this guy cook? He's just smurfing.
It's just the opposite of last game. They're taking turns just solo killing each other.
Unbelievable, Tally. I just can't figure out this situation now. You got a 5-0 top side. I think this is the most exciting top lane it's been in a while.
This is the, as we are looking mid.
Certainly are. Very early flash there from
Changes
Empis. He's really scared about this one. Instantly turns around with the unleashing of the power, but Shen Xuan sitting there for a second, wondering, do I give you a shield? Well, it's certainly enough to make sure that he's not going to fall on down today.
As I was saying, like, this is the classic, like, oh, I'm behind. I need to fight more to get back into the game. River will never, like, lose quietly.
No, he certainly won't. He fights fire with fire, and he's not going to slow down anytime soon. Doesn't seem to be his character. He's no doubt going to want to get that Koenig, force of nature, every item under the sun, and still say, how am I getting burst by all this AP? Well, there is the Leandries now on time, on cue at 12 minutes in.
Yeah, and he does have access to the TP as well, so okay, it's TP to lane, never mind. I was going to say, like, he can impact the map bot lane if he wants, but he's just going straight back to lane. He wants to punish his matchup as much as he can.
Uh-oh, look at Katsuri, 2 levels down. This is not going to be a pretty picture if he finds the angle. The corruption goes down, tries to burst him with all that lethality. And it is enough to his credit to force Jovi back. And so far back that he's going to lose all these turret plates as a result. A full minute left before those plates disappear. Nice bit of attention thrown towards that lane then. And continues to balloon their lead. What was a mere 400 gold ahead has very quickly become 4k up. And might become even further in a second as Dorimon once again drops the burn. And tells River to go straight back to home.
Just a little tickle. I see, like, Zerby doesn't really have the damage yet. Like, he went for the Merc Trades, which swings how the Syndra matchup works. Like, normally Syndra can stun you and throw another ability like the W or the Q. She gets her 40-stack upgrade, but when you itemize Mercs, you're able to just walk out of the stun before the W comes forward, which denies the passive proc. As we are seeing a dive.
Yeah, he tried it. He took more damage from the turret in those 3 autos than anything else. In goes Zion to look at Lisa doing a bit of counter jungler. He realizes, I've got nobody here to back me up unless this Karma comes across. Why does Karma have Moby Boots so quick, but quick enough to make sure that the kill is going to take a little bit longer? He's going to fall on down for this one. He's failed the flash! He's failed the flash into the Dragon Pit, and it is an absolute disaster as they lose 2.
Ooh, just trying to steal away anything that they can get, and they just get collapsed on by the bot lane. Jovi has priority mid, walks down, and just cleans up 2 easy kills.
I tell you what, I look at River's camera right now. He looks tilted. I can't understand what is going on. He's locked in, but he sees the rest of his team is falling on down. There's another as Emphis tries to answer back, and he does so successfully. Jovi took a while, eventually gets it, nearly died with that turret being fully ramped on up.
Ooh,
but perhaps signs of life, but look at the scoreboard tally. It's 10-1.
Yeah, that one null magic just means Jovi couldn't one rotation in there, and he was able to trade because he got one more rotation of spells off. Consultation prize, but I mean, we're just seeing an easy dive here. Like, this is just completely effortless. I'm not gonna lie. As you see, like, the replay of the bot lane fight, it doesn't really matter that Chen Xuan's here because Jovi just has the inside collapsed and, like, it is able to clean up. Like, he tries to flash the wall, doesn't quite make it, and they just clean him up.
The biggest takeaway I'm getting from this one, though, is just Ion just look to be on a different page. Their communication, their understanding of what they need to get done. I mean, no question that Hex Flash was going across that wall. It's going to happen. I'm going to knock you back. I'm going to prevent any kind of comeback in this game. I mean, this is a really clean game and one that we'd hyped up and one that had so much promise in that first match, which is completely blowing out here in game number 2.
Yeah, that is an insane amount of damage already. LeBlanc has 1 item and she's already did that much damage. Quite nice to see the buffs come through like that. We do hate 80 LeBlanc.
Yeah, I mean, Luden's in this new variation. Still be doing its job. Lots of burst damage. And with a strong top side of your map like they have, I mean, it's never really existed to them. Every single grub's gone their way. Now the first hero going their way. And this is them going to open up some turrets. They've already found one. And I'll say that this mid-tier one is going to get one banked here. This is going to come on through and take it out
Drift
in a
time.
heartbeat. And Tokyo Drift time.
Good to see that we're not seeing any failed driving. As we see the Rumble ult being dropped already, just a bit of poke going on.
Yeah, very early on, actually. Foreigner going to go in for the premeditated Q flash. Goes for the ultimate underneath the turret. Has enough damage, especially that light cleaver to get it done. Nearly gets the double, but Katsuri just hangs on for dear life. Hex flash. Weber turns. Gets taken down as the TP comes on through to Emphis. Really picks up the pace there. To try and find more than just the kill they found so far. But then River jumps in. Absolutely assassinates Doraemon. And this is more like it, Direwolves. Lisa gets the kill. That's what he's been after. And with the Standard Sky, does a fair bit of damage, but is unable to find Nebula literally a pixel away.
Yeah, good from Direwolves to like punish the overextension from Ion. Like I think that if you have like this kind of lead where the game is just being completely blown down the water like this, you want to take it slow as Ion because like you're gonna win. Alright, but they're still put on the pedal, like diving, trading 1-for-1. Like Direwolves are happy with these kind of trades. Like they're getting some kind of resources which they wouldn't have access to without like this overextension.
But that's the concern for me, right? You know, color me confused for a second, because I look at this one and say, is this more of Ion showing a rare lapse of like overconfidence, or is this Direwolves actually just doing really well, like really well punishing? Because I look at this and go, huh, it's a little bit interesting. They were in such a strong position, they just tried to bite off a bit more than they could perhaps chew.
I think it's a bit of both. It's definitely like a overconfident thing, but also like Direwolves are punishing it well. Like they're pouncing on like that little bit of food that they've been given by Ion.
They've been given a sniff, and they're going in for the full-on attack at this stage. 11 kills to 4. It's been a game where Soul Point probably won't be a consideration, given that we're this late on, and only one has been taken. But they'll be looking to try and keep these side lanes in check, which, to their credit, has been a strong point of Ion's game plan in all their matches played so far. They've had the ability to try and run their opponents rampant around the map, doing their bidding. You can see a nice flash away from River as he receives that gank. Nibbler spot, and he's absolutely crushed. This time, nowhere to run or hide. Beautiful pincer maneuver, and one they sorely needed.
You can see the pings coming out of Direwolves there. The moment they saw Foreigner bot lane, they were spam pinging to engage mid. Lisa had a really nice flank from walking into the topside jungle, and they just executed on killing affiliates there.
Blue buff being looked at. As both Chenchuan and Lisa are here, looking to try and deny away from Jovi, which would be nice. But he's got that CC, and is actually going to get taken away in the end. Lisa snags it for himself. Really making Ion hate themselves for a second, but has it come at the cost of them really being in a really awkward situation? I think it has, Tally, because where is Katsuri? And where's the rest of his team to back him on up? The Sigil comes through, the Stone finally takes them out. But eventually, Emphis punishes them 4-1, so both mid laners have found themselves involved in this one. But the AP damage continues to come on through. And Doraemon says, you've taken out one, but you forgot me.
It's another shutdown going to Emphis. Like, it's honestly not bad. Like, these constant, like, 1-for-1s, 1-for-2s are, like, very good for Direwolves. Like, they're finding gold on their carries, and, like, they're getting access to, like, any, like, little bit of gold. As you see, like, Katsuri is just running. He's just running for his life here. Extremely fast Varus, but, like, Jovi just, he wants this kill no matter what. We see Syndra, I think, drop the ulti to finish him off in the end. But yeah, unfortunately, Chenchuan also dies because it would have been a nice favor for Direwolves if they were able to get that 1-for-1 shutdown.
They're keeping it close, which is the main takeaway from this one, is what I'm saying, right? Is that it's not ballooned into a 10k deficit at a very early point in this game. Still within touching distance of about 2k, so just an item, maybe just less. Which isn't the end of the world, and hence why we are seeing it as close as it can be. But you start to ask the question, okay, when is that next fight going to break out, and what is the ideal setup for it? Because I think for Direwolves, they're quite keen to have everybody from Iron grouped up together, but at the same point, I'm sure they are too, because they have so much damage that they want the opposition to come into an equalizer or, you know, face check Nebula.
Yeah, they definitely want Iron walking into them. Like, they have so many different forms of CC. Like, you don't want to face check, like the stun, the Varus ult, like even Lee Sin like having a flank kick somewhere is like what they're talking about. And something that is also like not very good for Ion is that it's been 5 minutes, but the gold lead hasn't grown at all. It's stayed exactly the same, which is like very telling of like how this game state's been going.
Exactly, to my point, right? It's a case of there's potential for Direwolves to bring it back here in this game number 2 if they get complacent for a second. So curious to see if that actually materializes into much more than just a proposition. It is still Iron very much the ones that look to be in the driving seat, and I say that in terms of they're the ones rotating first, attending lanes first, and certainly forcing Direwolves to match and respond as opposed to be the ones in the driving seat. Bit of a different build actually, coming out here from Katsuri. Not often we see this new statue item. If you have much experience with it, any considerations?
This item is really OP in solo queue. If you're playing like an assassin or lethality builder, build this item. It is like, I'm pretty sure the way it works is like you gain stacks and you can use them, but when you die, you don't lose the stacks, but you lose the bonus AD until you get a kill again. I think that's how it works. I think it's just a really cool item. It's like an AD Magi sort of, and it like works really well with like how much AD you're getting from this item.
Despite the scoreline, Katsuri believes that he is the focus, and for good reason too. They want to try and take him down first and foremost. He flashes across the wall, dodging out of that cease and desist, as well as the equalizer combo, which is enough to nearly put him down to critical points. Jumping across the wall does go River, takes that foreign assist, let's remove this buy, but he simply flashes the wall as well, so nobody's going to fall on down despite ultimates and summoners being used, all at the price of trying to wrangle over some mid lane control.
And you saw like that was barely anything from Ion, and like Katsuri barely survived, and now he doesn't have flash going into the next fight. So like if that happens again, he will not live.
Yeah, I mean, these are the situations where you say nothing happened, but a whole bunch did happen. It means it's preventing anything from happening further, right? There's no chance for Direwolves to look at these next fights. That Dragon has to be conceded. And the Baron certainly is still being looked at here by Ion as a case of that could be how we balloon this gold lead further, but they need kills, right? It's what you were mentioning before. The gold lead hasn't ballooned any further. They need a moment to try and explode this game, and it might come soon because Storm Surge is there for Doraemon. He's got the Magi's now, having upgraded that Dark Steel. Really getting a solo kill before. As soon as that equalizes up, watch Iron go forward.
Yeah, Direwolves are staying around here because like they're kind of tracking the ult cooldowns, but they're extremely close from Ion, so we'll see if they do want to walk in here. They might give the Dragon, but they can definitely play for fight.
Flame spitter across the wall is what you'd imagine would be the case. But be careful being dragged into that pit. Dragon picked up then by Lisa as Direwolves are now forced to try and do the second task. Can you escape this without losing anybody in the process? Nice flanking stun from Memphis, but in goes the equalizer. They're all standing on top of it and stunned in place by the fact that Foreigner went in. Jovi peppering from the sides, but can he get lethal? We can't find it just yet. The double Storm Surge setup is unable to burst into life, and Direwolves do get a rare reprieve.
It's just a few centimeters of being like an insane rumble placement. If he put it on that exit and the Direwolves were forced to walk over it as they were walking away, I think that would have been a completely different fight.
To be, however, and I suppose you look at this one now and think, okay, well, really, which way does this game go? You mentioned already that the scaling on Direwolves isn't necessarily bad, despite us talking about how strong their early game should be. Do you have a preference, now taking a bit of a stock check of how this game's been playing out for the last, what, 5-10 minutes? Do you see a side having a better chance if this were to go another 10 minutes onwards?
I think it'll definitely flip-flop. I think that Direwolves will hit a point where like they have, I don't know, like 3 items on everyone. Like I think they'll be stronger. But like definitely as this game gets longer, I think that LeBlanc with 6 items, Aphelios with 6 items, like they just have access to doing a lot more damage. Aphelios will hit the point where like he's face tanking everyone and also one-shotting your team. And he's being enabled by Milio to like just have free reign in this team fight. So I think that as a huge amount of damage goes on Lisa, back to my point, I think that the game will favor Direwolves very soon when when Neuroman is finished on Varus and we see the death cap completed on Cinder, but after that I think it'll be all Ion.
It's uphill battle then, is what I'm getting from that, right? Is that Direwolves will have damage, but the window to execute within is slowly fading away. And I've had enough of this dance. They say, come fight us. We're doing the Baron. What are you going to do about it? River, as you say, does not have a TP. This will be a 4v5. This will be Lisa having to pull out some heroics. Do Ion know that River's not coming? They're trying to bait for longer and longer. The Baron's getting lower and lower down to 1500. In they go with Scatter of the Week to try and steal it. It's not going to be the case. Desperation as they're forced to use a Baron-inspired recall to try and defend this one. Even a TP being committed to. As River says, you can have your Baron, but I'll try and get this.
Yeah, good discipline from Ion to not allow that Baron to go down to a 50-50. Like, they waited out the Syndra ball. They made sure Lee Sin wasn't able to have access to the pit, because Syndra herself can steal Baron with her combo. It does quite a bit of damage. I think it's above Smite at this point in the game. And, like, Lee Sin himself can also steal it with his own Smite, but, like, they just denied them access to the pit there and secured Baron.
How did that not interrupt his recall back to base? Die question. Forget what you've just mentioned. That seemed a little bit sus, but either way, Baron being picked up. Nice, cool, level-headed approach to taking out one, as you mentioned. There would have been so much burst, which they completely denied. And I guess still sticks to the narrative that we've been at, despite the gold lead maybe not ballooning as much as we had expected or hoped for. Ion still do very much remain in control.
Yeah, like they've got the Baron now. I think LeBlanc is close to level. Oh, she's almost a quarter towards level 16. When she's 16, it's just that low ulti cooldown. She's going to be able to poke them so easily. I think that Ion is going to get a lot from this Baron based on these lane states.
Let's see what it looks like, because currently it is, what, a 3-2 split, you would say, at this stage, with Foreigner kind of hovering between mid and bot. Really putting the pressure on to say, well, mid tier 2 is already gone, so perhaps we just all in on this bot wave. make sure that we're then knocking on the front door of 2 potential inhibitors, and really force Direwolves to consider what their next best bet would be. Because for River, his next best bet would be staring at the grey screen for 45 seconds, wondering how it all went so wrong. A complete 180 from game 1. He's now 0-5, and that's the invitation to open up the highway to say this base is about to belong to us.
Yeah, just a bit of overextension there. He got caught and he tried to walk forward to ult them back to try to get like a little bit of escape going on, but like Ion knows how that chant works and they maneuver around it pretty well.
They certainly do. That means that bot inhibitor will fall on down. It's a very successful Baron push then. Really got a few different options that they can consider to go back to. Still with that Baron recall, they can go back to base, shop up again, and perhaps just look towards that next dragon to again invite Direwolves into a fight, because at this point they're desperate for any kind of gold bounties from objectives or yeah, even the kills too.
Yeah, we see Emphas TPing top to secure that bounty, but Jovi is not having any of that. I guess he'll have to, you know, Syndra just presses in, like what can you do?
They commit a double TP to this one. Is this an overforce, would you say? Are they convinced that Jovi's going to bite the bullet and say, oh, like a lonely Syndra, surely I go in for the fight? He's not taking the bait.
Yeah, a good discipline from Jovi. I assume he saw the second TP coming through and that's why he decided to distortion back. I think Emphas is really close to his death cap and that's why he decided to TP to that objective and get the bounty. Probably going to buy it when he bases here.
No champion bounties to pick up just at this point, right? So it is all about the objectives, which here's one being taken right now. On towards the second dragon for themselves.
A little bit of a flank from River here.
Jovi is very strong. He has now just completed that crit bloom. He will do a fair bit of damage, but he finds himself in similar circumstances. Did this in game 1. I popped the 1v3, but this time I'll literally just walk away and toy with you.
Yeah, unfortunately River didn't decide to ult there instantly. Like, he does have the Merc Tread, so like he is, like that stun is not lasting long at all, as we do see a collapse from Ion.
Let me try and pick apart one individual and make sure it's a 4v5 siege again, even without the Baron buff. Ion certainly do fancy their chance. The equalizer is there, but Dorimon doesn't really have too much pressure. Just his presence alone to say that I'm in the area is enough to force Direwolves back. He's hovering out of vision right now, topping between 2 different lanes. And that completely opens up the fact that mid and top now are the next ones on the chopping block. And it feels like that slow loss for Direwolves would have just been pushed back further and further until they decide we're going to draw a line in the sand and fight here.
Yeah, I think that like they're doing a really good job being disciplined about how they end this game. They're not like over-forcing. They know that they can take it slow. Like they outscale. This is like very good gameplay to see.
What more can really be hoped for is the question I suppose that Direwolves fans are asking themselves watching this performance. Is not waiting if for game 1. It's not looking too inspiring here in game 2, staring down a 7k deficit. You're thinking surely there's an invitation back into this game. They couldn't steal it. That is the Baron on the first attempt. They still have that condition you mentioned, right, of the execute burst coupled with a smite to say if you try and hold this one as a bit of a Baron dance, we can deny it away from you. Would you say really at this point this is their best chance of getting back into the game?
I think that like a team fight isn't that bad for them right now. They've all hit their spikes. Like this is pretty much as strong as their comp's going to get. Like they'll start to pull up after this point. Ion will start to scale really hard from this point forward. I think that like you just want to look for the fight and like you just have to outplay at this point. Honestly, it comes down to how good your hands are.
Let's see if those hands are warmed up and ready to try and perform a bit of a miracle, because the next minute is going to be that well, the most crucial really. With the Baron spawning, that might be their only chance left in this game to really fight on a quote-quote even footing. Let's see what happens then. Lisa is going to get pushed out of his base. There's Iron really just dominate every inch of this jungle and say it belongs to us. You'll have zero vision at all. You'll have no idea what's going on. I'm pretty sure if we were to toggle the map right now, it'd be completely blank.
That is scary. You don't want to go near that.
And what do you do at this point, Tally? What do you do?
I mean, you just have to, like, River, walk in. Hope he absorbs enough, like, cooldowns or enough people show trying to hit him, and then your carries just free up. They feel a bit more freed up to walk in behind.
Surely for Ion now, they know that the only play Direwolves have is to contest this Baron. They can do the dance for as long as they like, because they know that that bot inhibitor has lots of minions just coming into the base now. So it's a perfect time to fight in a corridor. Down goes the equalizer, forcing members back. That's enough to say that Baron should be free. We're late game. The damage would be enough to sneak this one in, even with a TDP to try and get themselves back into the fold of things. So in they go, starting up the Baron. Supers are on those Nexus turrets, so it really is do or die here for Direwolves, and down we go to 3k HP. What can Lisa do? Can perhaps Memphis steal this one away? It's down to 400, but it's been claimed by Fauna. Across the wall he jumps, blast cones into the opposition, and down goes River for 50 seconds again. The first one on the chopping block. In jumps Fauna again. Double kill for Dorimon, and Fauna still lives. The TP into the base, keep those supers alive, end it right here and right now.
Jeremy's gonna be able to work at this turret as well. I don't think like Direwolves have much CC to be able to deal with him just hopping around everywhere.
It's not going to be the case here. It's an exposed an exposed Nexus, which has been protected by the respawning of the inhib, is what I meant to say. Will they go for textbook League of Legends? Will they take every single one, or will they put them out of their misery and get the job done at 32 minutes?
GG. Honestly, like that's a really good showing. I think that like Ion had that same performance last week against Fury, but like they did it again against a better team, and I think that shows a lot for like how good this team is, for how new they are as a roster.
Getting closer and closer to realizing, are they the real deal? Have we all discredited them in our power rankings as the dark horse that starts off this split with 2 perfect victories? 2-0, convincing fashion on both occasions. We'll have all the stats, all the breakdowns right after this quick break.